Feds are about to lower rates, ladies and gentlemen. We have exciting news on this Monday morning, September 15th, guys. We're going to hit the gong and get into this. No promises, but we're going to take a look at a lot of tweets. We're going to take a look at the poly market odds on this Monday morning, guys. There is a lot going on in regards to Fed rate cuts. This has been the number one topic of conversation I've seen on all of X. So I have a clip that I want to go and share for you guys. We're going to look at maybe 5 minutes or so. This is Anthony Pompliano. Anthony Pompliano had on Jordi Visser. Okay. If you want to listen to somebody that I think does an excellent job looking at Truflation, a lot of different metrics, history, Anthony Pompliano is a good guy to listen to. Has on really good, educated guys in the space that have been doing this for a long time. Also, a good place to go to in regards to Fed rate cuts, the Coin Zone. All right, we got a video coming out soon. Stay tuned. A lot we're doing for you guys. But in the interim, I have a ton of things that I want to share for you guys. As I said, Anthony Pompliano, Poly Market. We're going to take a look at some tweets on X in regards to the Fed rate cuts. So without further ado, I'm going to share screen. I already did. I'm going to make this bigger. We're going to listen to Anthony Pompliano and a little bit of Jordi Visser, and then we're going to go from there. Before we get tapped in here with Pomp, guys, make sure to sub to the channel. I appreciate you for tapping in. Follow us on X if you haven't already. Let's get into this.
I believe the Fed should make a 50 to 75 basis point cut in interest rates, and that would allow them to catch up to where they should be. But history tells us that the Fed is going to avoid being bold in their decision. But don't take my word for it. Jordi Visser explained to me this weekend why he sees the odds of a 50 basis point cut increasing. Take a listen.
For me, this was the dividing line where I think this week between Oracle happening and the CPI being out of the way now, so the Fed's going to cut rates, I think all of the bearish sentiment that's been sitting out there where people refuse to stop with the tariffs, because that's what the CPI is. I'm worried that tariffs are still going to show up somewhere. I think this was the official ending of tariffs this week.
All right. So you say it's the official ending of tariff, like fear mongering. I saw a lot of people saying, oh, inflation is now 2.9% year over year. The tariffs are here. They're infiltrating into the inflation numbers. And they would go and they would find some data point. They'd be like, I told you the tariffs are inflationary. Look at this thing here. And by the way, these aren't like trolls on the internet. These are like well-respected economists and actually people that like we talk to on a weekly or every other week basis. I'm shocked at how many people are like, hey, inflation is here. Inflation is being driven by the tariffs, and we should all be concerned.
So here's the beauty of those economists. Their job, if they're at Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, is to try and help investors make money. None of that is going to help investors make money. If anything, it's helping them lose money or underachieving. It is the reason why I spend all of the time that I do on AI. It's the reason that you and I basically got together, because I believe AI is the gateway to crypto. Economists don't know anything about AI or crypto. Nothing. So what happened in Oracle, I mean, just to put this in economist terms, which no one put out this week, Oracle had an increase in orders of $317 billion. Okay.
Is that a lot?
That's a lot. To put it into context of economist terms, nominal GDP in the US is, let's say, 4.5%. At 4.5% on a $30 trillion economy, you're talking about, let's say, $325 billion a quarter increase. So Oracle in 3 months, their back orders grew by $300 billion. So what's more important right now than what's happening with artificial intelligence? And that's just the infrastructure side. That doesn't include the profit margin side. It doesn't include the adoption side. It doesn't include any of the other things that are going on. This is literally one of the largest companies in the world saying, we don't have enough capacity for the orders that are hitting us. Economists don't talk about that. They're still fixated on whether core goods services moved up. And I'm not kidding you. It gets rounded to where the big, let's say, scary part today was, well, it came out at 0.346. If it had come in at 0.351, we would have rounded it up to 0.4. That's the stupidity that gets in for people thinking that is going to help you make money or not.
I think Jordy's got a point there. But
Yeah, so let's pause there, guys. Jordy Visser's a good guy to listen to. Pomp has really good guests on his show. So wanted to tap into that there. Now let's keep it moving here. This is Polymarket. As we all know, we looked at this last week. The numbers are up higher. Okay, so 25 basis points decreases at 90% currently. I think it's been higher in the past before even. But this is where the direction is going. This is what people think is going to happen. And some people are speculating last week, over the weekend, that crypto already priced this in. The markets are anticipating this happening. Now, we have our guy, Hard Hat Powell. This is for sure AI. Bro looks like he has some sort of weird mustache going on. I don't know who made this. This is from Cointelegraph today. All right, guys, this was yesterday. So basically last night, President Trump thinks the Federal Reserve will make a big cut. Big cut. What a big cut coming. JP, too slow, Powell. Big cuts. It's perfect for cutting, he says. Yeah, well, definitely could agree there. Now, I'm curious to know what you guys think in the comments as you're watching here. All 10 of you tapping in right now on X and YouTube. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. More trickling in at the moment. Love to see it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are we getting a Fed rate cut? I think the entire world is expecting it at this point. I think Jerome Powell's time is up, coming around the corner. He's not going to be here forever. If he can do anything before he exits that will actually be not opposed to Donald Trump, because that's what we've seen so far, is him basically not listen to what Trump wants him to do. You know, the Hard Hat Powell days. You guys know I absolutely love that photo. Maybe we can just Jerome Powell, Trump, hard hats. This was a legendary day, guys. This was a legendary day. All right. I always use this same image because we like this image. It's just funny. The look on Jerome Powell's face. This was a funny big day. I remember covering it live. It was happening a couple months ago in July. We've been waiting for rate cuts since July, guys. It's now September. Goldman Sachs thinks that we're going to get 3 rate cuts before the end of the year. It's a lot of speculation. I think Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan are also throwing things around. They also want to see things happen. So I don't know. I find it very hard that we will not get Fed rate cuts in September, or at least once before the end of the year. I find it very hard. But again, I'm curious to know what you guys think in the comments. We got our guy, Hard Hat Powell here. What a goat. Hard Hat Powell. Look at this guy. Looking at the numbers. Trump. Yeah, beautiful. Look at this. Got the rates. Those are the numbers. Make it happen. Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been seeing, guys, since July 25th. July, guys. We've been waiting for this to happen since July. Now, if we go back to this, September 17th. So we have 2 more days. We'll cover it live. You guys better make sure to tap in. Don't miss this. Make sure to sub to us in the meantime here at the Coin Zone. I'm Crypto with Paul, as you know. If you don't know, then what are you doing here? Okay? Come on, guys. What are we doing? But this is where we're at, okay? So a 25% basis point, we're at 90%, 50%, 20, no, okay, so here's where it is. No change, 2.5%. Nobody thinks that we're getting no change. Nobody thinks that. Very interesting. Now let's go to October. October, the odds are basically at around 70% that we're going to get a decision in October. So the next time we got to wait for Hard Hat Powell to make another decision. People think we're going to cut then. Who knows? The odds are higher for 2 days. People are speculating. The markets are already pricing this in. It's tough to determine, guys, but this is what we're looking at here right now on this Monday morning on the Coin Zone. This has been all over my X timeline. This is what people care about, because this is ultimately going to move the markets. Why do we care about talking about Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve? What does that have to do with crypto? If that's what you're curious about, well, these things impact the markets. Okay, if you put more liquidity out there, people are going to do stuff with that. If you take away liquidity, people are not going to be splurging. So history is indicative of human nature and what comes next after something like a rate cut comes. It's insane to me that a private institution, basically that nobody voted for, dictates the markets in this way. That's insane to me. In a free country like the United States, the Federal Reserve is basically a central bank. This is crazy, but it's the reality, and this is why we're focusing on it, and this is why we're talking about it, because we got to look at this, guys. I mean, something's going to be done here. Something has to be done here. So, I mean, you know, I appreciate you guys for tapping in right now. It's Monday, as I said. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. We have Crypto Rover speculating that the Fed will cut rates this week. Again, that's what everyone is thinking. Personally, me too. All right. This isn't investment advice, guys. It never is. Do your own research. I'm sharing my personal opinion is that I do believe we will see Fed rate cuts this week. If this happens, Crypto Rover thinks Bitcoin will hit 150K. ETH will pump to 10K. Now, I jumped on a live on Friday with ETH developers in the space for like 7 years. He thinks that ETH is going to pump to 19K, similar to what Bitcoin did last time when it was around the similar price range. And we also have Cointelegraph suspecting Bitcoin will hit 160 by the end of the year. So, a lot of different information to go off of. Tons of different information to look at. And again, guys, I'm not seeing anything that's too bearish. I don't see anything that's bearish. You know, people still like Jordy and you know, Anthony Pompliano were talking about in regards to tariffs. People are still kind of pooping their pants over that. But, you know, even if it's economists, Jordy Visser said, you know, they have an incentive to make money for their investors. And they're still going against it. So it's a little hard to believe according to Pomp and Jordy Visser, but you know, there's a large focus on this, guys. I don't see it not happening. Let's move on to some other things here. Outside of Hard Hat Powell, we'll get to Lark Davis for a second. Big week for crypto, Lark says. Big week. What a week for crypto. What a week. Okay. FOMC rate cut decision on Wednesday. So again, stay tuned for that. We're going to cover it here live. Make sure to sub. U.S. jobless claims on Thursday. This is the week you've been waiting for the entire summer. I mean, he's kind of not wrong. You know, we just looked at the Hard Hat Powell picture with Donald Trump pointing on the piece of paper. That was back in July, guys. It's now September. I mean, September, like, that means summer's over. It's not even summer anymore. It's fall. Football started. All right, shout out to Packers. I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, 2-0. What a start. Micah Parsons, oh my God. Insane, guys. Chat, let me know what team you're a fan of. Let me know where you're watching from right now. I appreciate the engagement. We love to chop it up with you guys here in the Coin Zone. So let me know. But, I mean, I agree with Lark on this. This is a massive week. All eyes have been on Jerome Powell for months now. It's going to be very interesting to see what will happen if he does go and cut the rates. So why don't we do this too? Again, guys, this is going to be a little sneak peek, okay? Because we have a video coming out soon on the channel about this. And I want you guys to stick around and watch that video because, again, we put a lot of time and effort into these videos for you guys. We definitely do a lot. But why don't we have a little fun here on this Monday, because we like to have fun, right? Why not? Here in the Coin Zone, Crypto with Paul. I'm a fun guy, hopefully. Isn't that a meme? The fun guy meme? Right? You guys know what I'm talking about? The fun guy. That's probably a meme at this point, I'm assuming. But either way, let's ask Grok. Let's have a little fun here. Grocky Poo, how you doing? What normally happens to the stock market and the crypto market after a Fed rate cut? Is it bullish or is it bearish? Let's see what Grok says, guys. Is it bullish or bearish historically after rate cuts. Grok says, historically, the impact of Federal Reserve cuts on the stock and crypto markets depends on the economic context, the size of the cut, and market expectations. Here's a breakdown. That's true. Number one, before I get into this, just personally, crypto markets depends on the economic context. That's true. If we are not in a recession or anything like that and we get cuts, that's good. Okay. So bullish case, rate cuts typically lower borrowing costs, stimulate economic growth, and boost corporate profits, which can drive stock prices higher. Sectors like technology, consumer discretionary, and small cap stocks often benefit most due to their sensitivity to interest rates. If the cut is anticipated and signals a soft landing, quote unquote, growth without high inflation, markets often rally. For example, data from past cycles, 1998, 2019, shows the S&P 500 often rises 5 to 10% in the next 6 months following a rate cut. Yeah, interesting. Bearish case, if rate cuts signal economic distress or a looming recession, markets can react negatively. I don't think that's what we're seeing. Okay. Investors may interpret cuts as the Fed's attempt to avert a crisis, leading to sell-offs. That's not what we're seeing. Right, guys? We know what we're seeing. We're seeing positive things. We're seeing that the Fed has been in a position to potentially maybe have cut rates the last 2 times that Jerome Powell spoke. And he hasn't. He's too late, Powell, according to Donald Trump. And that's not just the president, guys. You know, I'm not here to speak for Donald Trump myself, but this is also countless other individuals who are in real estate, who are investors in the stock market and crypto, who have been doing this for a long time. And they don't have some sort of incentive to lean a specific way. You know, people have been calling for rate cuts for 60 plus days now, I would say. Whether they were right 60 days ago or they're right now, what we're focusing on here is just the possibility of it happening in 2 days and the potential outcomes of what that could look like. So, yeah, man, crypto market, bullish case. Crypto, particularly Bitcoin and Ethereum, often benefits from rate cuts as they increase liquidity and risk appetite, 100%. And again, if you want a complete, full breakdown of this, stick around and go watch our video that will be coming out at some point this week in regards to the rate cuts. That's going to be very interesting. Why don't we go back to this? I'm going to share this quick video for you guys. This is what happens if Jerome Powell does not cut rates.
Good afternoon.
All he says is good afternoon. I love it. I love it. All he says is good afternoon, bro. Punches the screen. I mean, it's true though. I mean, people gamble on whether Jerome Powell's going to say good afternoon or good evening in his speeches. You can literally bet on that. So, I don't know. If that's what you're into, go for it. That's not what we do here. I'm not recommending that. Okay. But that's just the reality of this. Let's go back to Pomp for a little bit. S&P 500 all-time highs, NASDAQ all-time highs. Rate cuts incoming. It is imperative we convince every American to become an investor or they will suffer on the wrong side of the wealth inequality divide. It's a big statement, guys. That is a very big statement that Anthony Pompliano made. But why does he say that, though? Now, I will say this. Donald Trump has been doing a lot. Yes, the S&P and NASDAQ are at all-time highs. And if you actually listen to bro's advice to buy these things, to buy Bitcoin and hold it, over time, you'll probably do fine, right? You know, here at crypto, like I'm not in the S&P at all. I'm sure a lot of you watching aren't. We're crypto degens, some of us. We're in crypto. We buy and hold crypto. That's the point, guys. That is the point. It is imperative that we convince every American to become an investor or else they will suffer. All of you watching with me right now know that. You guys are all not on the sidelines, I'm assuming. You guys are all investing in cryptocurrency because you understand the inflation risk. Over time, your purchasing power gets eaten alive and your dollar becomes worthless. If you're just sitting in dollars, you're sinking with the ship. However, these are life rafts. Okay? Bitcoin is a tool. These things are tools. You have to start looking at things like this. I'm not trying to shape your mind, but these are all tools that we can use in our life. Bitcoin is a tool that will preserve your purchasing power over time. Okay? As we know, it has sort of failed as a digital money. It is more of a store of value, but it is a great store of value. And when you see a Fed rate cut like this, that boosts up the narrative of Bitcoin being a digital gold. So people put their money there in times where the risk appetite goes away. Okay? Does that make sense? Do you guys get it? Are you guys here with me right now? Let me know in the comments. It's Monday. Some of you guys might be a little groggy, still hangover from the weekend, watching football, eating nachos all day. I don't know what you're into. Wings, pizza, who knows? That all sounds good to me right now. But listen, guys, this is what we're focusing on, okay? If we do get rate cuts in 2 days, which again, we will be covering this live, so stick around, make sure to sub, follow us here on X, then yes, things could pop off. Bigger than, I don't know what pops off. Freaking, I don't know. A little slow today. We're going to just explore and kick things somewhere else in another direction. So stick with me. Let's take a look at what is happening on Coinbase right now, guys. So what do we see? We see this. We see Bitcoin and everything red currently. Why is that? Why is everything bleeding right now, guys? You guys want to let me know in the comments what your thoughts are? Let me know. Everything seems to be bleeding. Mantle is doing okay. I mean, Mantle's had a hell of a year, as we know, as some of you may not know, but Mantle has had some interesting news stories about it. It's a layer 2. Interesting to see Mantle's up almost 4% as everything else is down. Monero's up as well. I mean, yeah, very interesting to see this, guys. Bitcoin's at 114,000, guys. So if we potentially, according to CoinMarketCap, see a 160,000 move in play, we're up 99% on the year. That would send us, I don't know, that would send us up a whole other leg, guys. I mean, 99, 100% on the year is great. That's a great return. You know, we talked about when rate cuts happen, the S&P and the history of that. We can see a 21% rally, 25% rally. And in the S&P world, that's like, oh my God, wow, what a rally. Bitcoin's up 100% on the year, and you guys are yawning. You guys are crying that the bear market's over, crypto stinks. Like 100%, guys. Like zoom out, maybe. Be appreciative, maybe. I don't get it. But however, at 114, you know, we saw a high close, almost 130-ish, 125-ish with Bitcoin in August, right? If we can get to 160, I want you to let me know where you think Ethereum is going to be at. ETH is up 95. So ETH is up, it was up more, now it's up less again than Bitcoin is on the year. These things are all important to look at when it comes to alt season, guys. This is why we're all here, right? This is why you guys are watching right now. You want to learn more information about what's going to happen next in the markets. How can you position yourself appropriately? Okay, and the advice I always want to give you guys is you got to zoom out. Okay, you can't be planning everything on like month-to-month basis. Now, when it comes to alt season, yes, you got to lock in and pay attention because, for example, coins like, let's go to ADA for a sec. Coins like Cardano. Oh my gosh, I hate when they do this. Okay. Coins like ADA, which is down 3% right now. I mean, ADA under $1 to me in general, if you zoom out, insane buying opportunity. But what happened the last time? Look at how fast this was, guys. November, you know, we're at, let's see, 11 cents, 14 cents. So we're at 14 cents, right? Basically in December, all of a sudden, August, we're at $3.10 is Cardano's high. All right. So it's quick, guys. It's not like you're gonna get a years long bull run. Sometimes it's even quicker than that. Like these wicks, like the first wick up. So it went from 114 basically, or excuse me, 14 cents to 148 in 2.5 months. That's crazy. 2.5 months, guys. And then look, corrected a little bit, next leg up, correct a little bit, massive leg up. Okay, and this was all in the span of 6 or so months. So if you anticipate that happening again, which I'm assuming that's why you're here, because we've all been waiting for this 2025 crypto mega chad bull run. If you're assuming the same thing is going to happen again, then you got to be paying attention. Like you got to lock in now. You got to lock in now. Because if these moves start happening, then like you're never going to, I won't say never. I mean, in a bear market when things correct, obviously we've seen cryptos go down 90+% before. That's normal, right? Things might be a little different now with institutions and all this regulation and all this insane capital that's going to be flowing into it. I don't know if we'll see a lot of top blue chip cryptos like Cardano go down 90+% again. But the point is, if you don't catch it before this next leg up and these next leg up and this next wick up, right? You might not be able to buy ADA under $1 again for a while, or maybe not even ever. I'm not going to say ever. I'm sure it's going to happen. And if it does, I'm buying more. But the point is, you're going to miss the train if you're not paying attention. Okay? Chew freaking chew, guys. You know we have the stupidest analogies here at the Coin Zone. I'm Crypto with Paul. It's what we do here. If you like stupid comedy, I might be your guy. Okay? So give us a follow here at the Coin Zone. Sub on YouTube if you haven't. That's insane if you haven't. But we love looking at the markets, guys. We love looking at what's going on. The poly market sentiment is 90% that we're getting a rate cut. So if you're into gambling and you want to throw some USD into poly market or something, or some ETH, see if it grows and it hits, that can be an easy one for you there. Check it out. Insane news coming. Tether has made some insane announcements. They are having their US dollar backed stablecoin, or excuse me, a US dollar basically native stablecoin for the United States that Bo Hines is going to be leading up. Like there's, as we all know, Tether mints, billions at a time or whatever. That's liquidity for the space. So if USDC and Circle are doing that, and now Tether's about to do it again, probably with like a whole new entire, stablecoin. Hyperliquid now has a stablecoin. This is all capital and liquidity that's going to be flowing into projects. Even though I'm not a big fan of Solana, as you guys know, I'm still rational and I'm not biased. I think Solana's going to do well. 77% on the year, so it's not even having as good as the year as Bitcoin. Dogecoin is higher, I believe, as well. 169% on the year. Yeah, I mean, just pay attention, guys. If you're holding any of these top coins, I would recommend just looking at its previous performance. History obviously rhymes or repeats. If you're looking and holding a top blue chip project, it's during these times of euphoria, like, not to say like you can just throw something at a wall and you'll do well, but a lot of things move up. A lot of things are going to be green in times of crypto euphoria, but the ones that are going to do insane are the actual projects that are building, the actual projects with utility, that have partnerships, that are collaborating with the government, things like this. And again, not investment advice, do your own research, but at the end of these streams here, I always kind of like to chop it up with you guys, see what you're buying, ask what you're holding, and lend you some of my personal opinions. So number one, I think Sol is going to do great. ETH, Doge, I don't know, guys. I don't know how you guys feel about Doge or Tron. I think Cardano is massively undervalued and still slept on. 30 billion market cap. I think that can get up to maybe close to 100 or something. Maybe. We'll see. Hyperliquid. I think it's going to do well. Has a lot of eyes on it. Chainlink, I think, is so undervalued. SUI, I think, is undervalued. If you're watching right now and you're in the SUI community, we would love to have somebody on the SUI community, in the SUI community on our channel. So if you're watching out there and you guys are SUI people, hit me up in the DMs, Crypto with Paul, or on the Coin Zone, either one, whatever you guys want. Let me know. We'll glad to have you on the channel. SUI, I think, is going to do well. Stellar Lumens, I think, has always been a little slept on, always kind of XRP's little baby brother. Avalanche is slept on, in my opinion. Hedera is massively slept on. Great utility, great project, great technology. Litecoin, I don't know, guys. I don't think Litecoin's going to do insane, but it's still here after all these years, and their intern supposedly is still kicking. Pretty insane. Now, the issue with Litecoin is it falls into the same narrative of what people think with Bitcoin. It's old, it's slow, the technology's older, whatever. Now, if we zoom out, all-time high, I mean, it's only up 252% ever, and it's been around for over 10 years. So that's, people look at that and be like, okay, that's not great. It's like freaking S&P over 10 years. But we zoom out and look at Bitcoin, up 11,000%, you know, over a little over 10 years. Insane. Like, not even close or comparable. Not even close. So, to each his own, not investment advice. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. It seems like the Feds are going to cut rates. That's the focus here. We're going to see in 2 days. We got 2 days to wait. We'll see what happens, guys. But I appreciate you for tapping in the meantime and listening to me ramble and discuss and look at all angles and sides. If you guys don't know who Pomp is, he has a great channel as well. Anthony Pompliano. We listened to him in the clip in the beginning of this video, and Jordy Visser described what they think is going to happen with Fed rate cuts. 90% on poly market. I think everybody and their mother right now is thinking that Jerome Powell is going to cut the rates. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Appreciate you for tapping in. I'll be back soon with another live. We're going to be talking about more interesting things that are going on today. So again, stay tuned. When you see me go live again later, click that button. And I'll see you guys then. Peace.